Now let's just give an example and type in a few fields. For example, the remedy, potency, the posology and dilution. Now for example, I want to give my patient aconitum. I just start to type acon dot and let's say top, potency a 200, top, dilution a Korsakoff, top, and posology. Now let me tell you something about the pick lists and default value. Now if you see these little drop down icons, it means that associated to such a field is a pick list. It means that when you type in a value, it is checked against the pick list if it's a correct value. This sees to it that you always fill in your fields in a standardized way. Now let me open, for example, here the remedy. So I click on the pick list for this remedy, and it has here the remedies. You can sort by abbreviation or by full name. Now let me close this again. For example, the posology, let me open this one. You see there are many options, but for example, let's say I'm used to give most of the time oral granules or globules in a single dose. I can assign such a value as my default value. To do this, I click on this icon and I get a message that I've assigned this one as default. Default value means that if I close this window and I'm in such a field and I've assigned a default value, on the keyboard I just press F3, the function key F3, and the default value is inserted. I remind you again, to open a pick list you can click on this icon, but you can also press on the keyboard F2, the function key F2, and that opens the pick list window. So I close this again. To change for these fields, if there should be a pick list associated, yes or no, you can do this via Options, Field and Pick List Options, and then per set of information, for example the administrative data window, or here the consultation therapy evaluation window, there for example I have here the dilution scale. There I could set, for example, yes or no, if there should be a default value assigned to it, or a pick list. So to this field dilution scale, there is a pick list associated. If I had assigned a default value, then I can click here again to remove the default value. So I click on Close. Now I just want to show you the following. I go here to repertorizations. I can save the repertorizations or analyses which I've made in Radar to my patient. So I go to Radar and I have here already a repertorization and I want to save this to that patient. Just press on this icon, export to Winchip. I click on it and I get a confirmation. Do you really want to add this repertorization to this consultation and this patient? I say yes, and I've added it. Now let me show you just the following. Here the search icon or research. I click on it and I have here already a few predefined searches, but you can define your own searches also. This depends a bit on the version of Winchip which you have, but for example I will show you this. I want to have an overview of the remedies I've given, how often, and it's sorted by frequency, so how often I've given it. So I select this one, I say OK, and you see in my sample database arsenicum has been given 4 times, and these are the other remedies. Okay, I close this window again. I close this one. I'm back in my administrative data. Now let me just show you this icon. This is a kind of acute case icon or emergency. Now let's say the telephone rings. There's an acute case. You don't have time to type in first name, address, etc. Just click on this icon and immediately a new consultation starts. The text window opens and you can start to type. Okay, when you're ready you can press escape. It asks you to save the changes, yes. And if I check in the administrative data as name and first name, automatically the date and the time has been filled in, and now you have the time to correct it and change it to the correct name. There are many options and possibilities in Winchip, and you can adapt the program in such a way that it fits your way you work. You can keep track of as much information as you want, or just as limited amount of information on which you just want to focus. I just want to point out that if you rely on a patient database on the computer, be sure to make regular backups, and also make your backups on a secondary medium, so on an external hard disk, for example. Now Winchip comes in several versions: the starter version, medium, professional, and the network version. The exact differences between these versions you can see via Help, a summary, and then click on Appendix B, differences between the starting, medium and professional version. Here you can see a table with the exact differences. So I close this window again, and I think this concludes this very first introduction to Winchip.